Contemplate this scenario. You buy a capital city house for $380,000 and a year later its market value has gone up to $530,000, up 40% in 12 months, providing a capital gain of around $150,000. Or how about this one? You paid just $240,000 for a house in a regional centre and a year later it's worth $325,000. That's a growth of 35% in 12 months, and you're getting also a rental return above 7% in that location. A third example is paying $380,000 for a house in a capital city and watching it grow to $480,000 in 12 months. Meanwhile, rents have grown 25% in your suburb, underpinned by a vacancy rate of 0.4%, and your rental return has increased from around 6% initially to well above 7% a year later. These are some of the scenarios to emerge from our analysis of the 50 locations in the special report we published called The Pulse. We publish that quarterly in conjunction with the depreciation experts Washington Brown. Now that 40% capital growth scenario occurred in the Perth suburb of Hillman, which has benefited from the extraordinary price increases experienced in the Western Australian capital in the past 12 months. The 35% leap in values in 1 year happened in the little-known New South Wales regional town of Moree, where values have been boosted by construction of Australia's biggest national infrastructure project, the $35 billion inland rail link, which spans the three major eastern states. The third scenario I mentioned earlier relates to the Elizabeth Eaths suburb in the northern suburbs of Adelaide, a precinct heavily targeted by first-home buyers and investors for its affordability, good amenities and proximity to major employment nodes. These and other outcomes and locations featured in our report in the past year demonstrate one of the fundamental philosophies that underpins our recommendations to investors. That contrary to a popular real estate theory, you don't need to choose between capital growth and high rental yields. If you select your location well, you can benefit from both. The 50 locations featured in the Pulse report are chosen because they offer above average rental yields, but we also require our nominated locations to have credentials for capital growth. Of the 50 locations in the current edition of the report, 48 have recorded growth in their median prices in the past 12 months, including 30 of them with capital growth above 10% in the past 12 months. The top 10 have all had price rises well above 20%, in addition to providing superior rental yields. But the truly outstanding markets are the ones with exceptional growth in both prices and rents. So consider these additional examples. Firstly, the suburb of Armidale in Western Australia. Before Perth's boom convinced investors that any house in Perth was a good buy, few people wanted to buy in down market Armidale. Now it's flavour of the year for those seeking a cheap house with high growth prospects. The data for the past year is extraordinary, with the median price up 35% and rents rising 28%. The median is now $460,000, but you can still get 6% rental yields. And then there's Kerry Park, also in Western Australia. This affordable suburb in the key regional city of Bunbury has become a sought-after location for investors seeking low entry prices and high rental yields. Those who followed our advice and bought there a year ago would be pretty happy investors. The median house price has jumped 22% and rents are up 23%. The median price is still under $400,000 and rental yields remain around 7%. And what about Murray Bridge in regional South Australia? Now, regional South Australia seldom features in the national discussion about real estate growth, but it has excelled in recent years, led by Murray Bridge, where both the median price and the median rent for houses has risen 20% in the past 12 months. Vacancies are ultra low at around 0.4%, and despite the growth in the past few years, the median price remains within reach of most buyers at $430,000. And then there's Woodridge in Queensland. This is another unfashionable option which has nevertheless outperformed. Typical units in this southern Brisbane suburb now cost above $300,000 following annual median price growth of 24%, and with rents also rising 16%, investors can find yields between 6 and 7%, with the vacancy rate around 1%. There are many other examples like these on our list of 50 key suburbs which we have listed for their superior rental yields and potential for capital growth. And they're all places that should fit within the budgets of most investors.